The PM squared XML import application can accept input from any application that can give us a comma-separated value file. For this demonstration, we'll be using Canvanizer because it provides us with an interesting facilitation framework to use in front of clients. Now, Canvanizer comes with a series of different possible backgrounds or frameworks to use. We're going to be using the business canvas model, but there are multiple frameworks available for free across various formats, all of which would work well for setting up a My Objectives environment. Now, one of our goals is not only to have a great facilitation technique, but a second is to simplify the creation of a My Objectives environment. Part of the feedback we've had both from partners and end users is that with the number of tabs and fields, setting up My Objectives becomes overwhelming. In this case, we can simplify the process to the bare minimum that the client is interested in. So let's set up a new objective. In this case, we'll say that it's going to be a goal we're actually going to set up. And let's say it's something simple like, I don't know. And that's it. We obviously can choose what post-it note color and stuff we want, but I've gone ahead and created it. Now I can create more. Let me just double click, and this one is going to be another goal. And let's say this one is something nice and simple. And maybe I want to change its color. And then maybe ultimately I want to change its location. Maybe it's actually a channel objective. So this allows us to greatly simplify the input process and facilitate what the client is interested in talking about. Once we're done, all we need to do is export it as a comma-separated value, run it through the XML routine, and we can import it. Now, I'd like to show you a couple of other examples. In this case, we've been using, again, the business canvas to create a number of different goals. But in this case, we've added in additional fields. So in this case, we put in the emphasis. Over here, we've added in the description. Over here, we've added in start and end dates. So any number of attributes of any of the building blocks for My Objectives can be added in this format. We also can bring in multiple different objects. So in this case, I've illustrated how you'd bring in a player, an objective category, a new objective, an objective role, a period, and so forth. So any of the elements that My Objectives allows us to import can be created and put onto whatever the background is. And again, to bring them into My Objectives, we just save it as a comma-separated value. In addition, we can use other tools. So for example, this is Trello. Trello's allowed us to set up the 4 perspectives, and obviously we could set up another one over here, and we can add in any card to that. So let's add in something like and within that we can now predefine the fields that we want people to enter. In this case, a description of what this is all about, what the key result is, we can set the priority that we want, and even assign it to an objective. So in this way, we can make sure that everything that is created has the right format. Again, it's another tool that we can then save it as a comma-separated value and then import it into My Objectives. And there are probably a dozen other completely unique tools like this that we can use now for bringing data into My Objectives. The process is straightforward. You merely need to choose the comma-separated value file that was created, and then select Upload the file. Now it's important that you enter in the organization key, which is set up by My Objectives, and in this case was pre-set up in the import. Then there's two more steps. First, we convert the comma separated value file into the XML file, and then we log into My Objectives, select the XML file, and choose the import option inside of My Objectives. Now, My Objectives will conduct the import and send back the status of that import.